So we're going to have a small debate now about the issues that were presented here. We're going to have a cocktail, networking cocktail, just after in half an hour, more or less, outside, sponsored by Nokia, so should be very good. So what I got, he has still half an hour because we need to get question from you, actually. So I'm going to start. What I understood is that ecosystem is the most important thing. All of you presented that as the key issue, right? So Olivier was the first. So what's the missing part, actually, that's today you're looking for to build a good ecosystem? Is it maybe set up some direct link with PayPal and other peer-to-peer networks like that for people to send money between two networks?
So from a Nokia perspective, I think that when we looked at the existing attempt of delivering mobile money, we noticed that the infrastructure that was proposed was not allowing the bank or the telecom operator to basically keep the ownership of their customer, to be able to continue to build on the brand that they have been developing to their consumers or to their merchant. So a system that can respect those two characteristics is very, very important. So that we can have on the same system banks coming in and saying, we're going to continue to sell our bank service, it's going to be mobile, and I'm going to continue to build my customer relationship without having that being stolen by a mobile payment provider. And the same is true for the mobile operator. Brand and customer ownership is required. So the first thing is to have a system allowing that. Once we have that, it's important to be able to interoperate with the other system. So yes, it would be important to interoperate to have money transfer from such a system to an existing system. You know, it's surprising to see that it's difficult to send money from a Visa card to a MasterCard. It's a bit weird, you know, it would be good to be able to do so. You know, in the internet world, yeah, then you become all customers of PayPal.
That's basically what a lot of people are doing, actually.
So, sorry?
That's what a lot of people are doing. If you can accept credit card, if you accept PayPal, you can accept credit card even if the person doesn't have a PayPal account. This is like very easy point of sale system.
Yeah, if you look at that the way it's being done in that example, you become customer of PayPal then. So you understand that Visa and MasterCard are not the best friend of this type of solution. I think the point is it's the same thing with Apple, for instance, allowing that, and this is what has been the issue of Google Checkout. I think the point is to have a system that is respecting customer ownership and brand and then interconnecting. I think that the industry has to learn, such as the internet has learned, you know, when I have an email Google account and when I have an email Hotmail account, you know, I can send email to each other and without stealing the customer ownership. I think this is what the industry has to learn here, and that if it's done properly, it can allow everybody to make money on that system as opposed to develop closed system.
Amal, do you have?
Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. So I think the customer ownership still resides with whatever relationship the consumer has, specifically in the PayPal system. So if you are a telco operator, that relationship stays. If you are a bank customer, that relationship stays. PayPal is just a layer on top of that. Now, the reason why we do peer-to-peer transfers or transfers between a buyer and seller on eBay and both need a PayPal account is that when you start looking at the magnitude of transactions, so historically, if you look at mobile operators, it's been mostly digital content, if you take, I guess, outside of Japan. There are significant implications around legal compliance, risk and fraud management, and the reason why PayPal is able to have loss rates that are significantly below industry average is because you've got a PayPal account on both ends of the transaction. It's not about owning the customer as much as it's bringing efficiencies in the payment system, and those are the economics are shared within the ecosystem. For example, PayPal wouldn't, when you're doing a merchant payment, it's the merchant who pays for that service. So I would argue that building on top of systems, making systems interoperable, that is kind of the real value that I think entrepreneurs in the audience can bring to this.
Okay. Lars, I understood that one of the problem we have is that banks want part of the cake and mobile operators want part of the cake also. So in Japan, Docomo just bought a bank directly, so this solved the problem.
So
This model is...
It's not the only bank, though.
Yeah, it's not the only bank, but this is a way to solve the problem. Is this model possibly exportable to other regions in the world, or it's specific to Japan?
I think actually it's kind of interesting in the sense that for me to sit with these guys, by the way, that's huge. I think Nokia's approach and PayPal's approach is kind of, if you were to hybrid that, is what we see in Japan. It's a bit of both, kind of. So basically, Docomo and Sony own this platform. And this platform is interoperable regardless of operator, regardless of bank, regardless of final point of sale or use, for that matter. So this is Sony bet the farm on this, okay? This is a very tight system. So they've said, you can put your brand on it. I don't care what your brand is. If you're Visa, you can call it Visa. And if you're 7-Eleven, you can call it Nanko. If you're ANA Airlines, underlying system is their system. And interoperable straight across, fixed, mobile, I don't care. Local, international, period. Okay. So in a way, it's got that entire ecosystem, and in a way, it's got that very tight proprietary security. And actually, this is the one thing that I probably should have pointed out, which was supposed to be the trigger for me to remember the gold card DCMX. One of the things that the operator did that really shook the industry in Japan, what Docomo did with DCMX, is said, I am going to send you a bill every month, just like I have been, and you pay it every month because you want to use your phone next month. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a line of credit. Every single one of you who has a Docomo phone is automatically approved for a line of credit of approximately $100 US. And you can use that line of credit, whether that's making a transaction to buy a full song download over the air, or a point of sale at 7-Eleven to buy some manga. It doesn't matter. And if you're somebody like us, well, then your 100 could be 300 or whatever you decide. So the operator is already in a direct billing relationship with you, and they're extending you a line of credit. That's really sort of freaky for the other credit line of business people. And I would strongly suggest that any operator in the world could do something and will do something just like that. Why not?